What is going on, people? It's G and we are back in the building. Please make sure if you're seeing this video on your YouTube page, make sure you just drop a quick like if you can for me. Drop a comment as well. We are trying to get to 900 subs. So please make sure if you haven't done so already and you are just passing through and you saw Steven Gerrard, on your screen and you thought, hey, you know what? Let me give this a quick sub. Do you know what I mean? Let me give this a quick like and let me even just drop a comment. Whether you like the video, whether you hate the video, whether you think I'm chatting absolute rubbish, I don't mind. Put all of that in the comment section below for me, please. And as you guys see today, we're going to be talking about Mo Salah and Steven Gerrard. Now, a lot of people have recently spoken about, the two, more in regards to obviously looking at Mo Salah, the records he's broken, at Liverpool, the fantastic form he has been in for Liverpool this season, just continuing on from the last, 5-6 seasons that he has been here at Liverpool Football Club. And obviously the topic of conversation really is, can Mo Salah pass or surpass Steven Gerrard's legacy? Now, for all those, for all the old school Liverpool fans, again, I'm not sitting here, saying that he is, he will, he can, he is already, whatever. Do you know what I mean? I'm just here more to ask the question and to take a look, at Steven Gerrard's kind of career, take a look at Mo Salah's career at Liverpool and kind of figure out and wonder, could Mo Salah actually do it? Or is this a case of it's going to take a monumental effort before we ever see something like that? But without further ado, we're going to dive into the video. Again, make sure you like, make sure you share, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Let's get it.
Through the lot, now you know I'm coming through. When the growth look good on you, best believe they wanna screw now. I've been trying to climb, devil threw me in the dark. Baby, don't be insecure, you can still go make a mark like blow. Could never let them drain my soul now. Blow. Table turning like doorknobs, wow. Blow. I think I'm about to set sail. I'm a walking, living legend, walking with my chest out. Life keep dealing me cards, I keep feeling in love.
Yes, people, we're back in the building. And as I mentioned before, we're here to talk today about Liverpool's Mo Salah, Steven Gerrard. Can Salah or will Salah ever surpass, Steven Gerrard's legacy? Now, obviously, for the old school people like myself, of course, sometimes we look at these things and these kind of debates, and at times, and it might be a case here, but we'll get into it. At times I feel like if you didn't watch some of these players, it's a bit like, me talking about Pele or, Maradona. These guys are before my time. So if you ask me today, well, who would you rather have in your team, Lionel Messi or, Diego Maradona or Pele? I'd say Lionel Messi every day of the week. I wouldn't even blink or think about that. It'll be an instant reaction. Why? Because I grew up on Lionel Messi. That is the greatest player of my era, of my generation, but people of the generation just before me would say, nah, Diego Maradona, he was something special. And from the highlights and, the videos I've seen of him, he looks like an absolutely wonderful, player. And Pele, again, the people before me will say the exact same thing. How many World Cups has he won? How important was he to Brazil's, history and future, if I'm being totally honest with you, in terms of how they're looked at, across the world in regards to football. It's all these kind of things. So when we're talking about these kind of topics and we're having these kind of, discussions, of course, listen, it's going to come down to which era you were able to really fully watch. Now, I'm lucky I got to see Steven Gerrard from his debut until the day that he left Liverpool, and I've obviously seen Mo Salah from now, and God willing, I'm able to see, Salah until, he leaves Liverpool Football Club, whenever that is going to be. So I've been able to take a look at both sides, of the argument, both sides of the coin kind of thing. And obviously we're going to dive into, just taking a little look, Steven Gerrard's, career, the individual awards that he won, the trophies that he won, and the same thing for, Mo Salah. But I'll be so real with you. I will be honestly real. When I took a look at Steven Gerrard's individual awards, I said, yo, I actually said, yo, like I forgot. I actually genuinely forgot. I was like, You were what? What? Huh? I don't get it. Like, not that I don't get it. It's just I was just shocked. I was probably more shocked because seeing it all written down on paper and stuff like that, and seeing where he was ranked, and it's mad. It's mad. And Mo Salah again, he's a fantastic player. He's my favorite Liverpool player. Do you get what I'm trying to say? So there's not going to be. I'm not going to put any. Would I say? I'm not going to be disingenuous to Mo Salah, but then I also have to, before we dive into everything and stuff like that, what I will say, and people in the comments and stuff like that, let me know what you think in regards to this. As I said, it might just be straightforward for some of you. It might just be, nah, it's Salah, it's Gerrard, it's whoever. That's absolutely fine. We're just here to talk, man. We're just here at the end of the day, Liverpool fans. I feel like it's kind of fun talking about these kind of things. And also the fact that we can even talk about this clearly shows that Mo Salah's doing something. Do you know? Do you get what I mean? He's clearly doing something right in order for us to even be having this kind of discussion. Clearly, he is becoming that kind of player, in the Premier League. Leaving that kind of legacy for Liverpool, a legend at the football club already. All of these kind of various different things. I feel like he's become a legend quicker for Liverpool than Steven Gerrard ever was. I feel like Gerrard wasn't a legend after this amount of time, but ultimately context, as I mentioned before, Gerrard, started, came through the academy. So, it's not going to just take him 6 years to just be, all right, you're a Liverpool legend, kind of thing. You're going to have to go through the hard yards. Whereas Salah didn't really have to do that. He was already an established football star, playing, in various different for various different teams and things like that. So again, context. And another thing, when we look at these trophies and awards and stuff like that, we all remember the kind of teams that Steven Gerrard was playing in. Let's not act like, he was playing in some of the best, or let's not act like he was playing in as good a team as Mo Salah has played in since Mo Salah joined the football club. But then let's not also act like Gerrard hasn't played in some good teams. There have been some fantastic teams that Gerrard has played in, which in my opinion, in certain seasons, they've kind of failed their objective, really and truly. When you look at the team, what we did achieve in those seasons where we might have come second or challenged for whatever, really and truly, they might look back at that as we kind of failed. Do you get what I mean? Because those teams were absolutely solid. We all talk about that midfield. We all say if Liverpool of today under Jurgen Klopp had the midfield that we probably all would class in the Premier League era, probably is Liverpool's best ever midfield of Steven Mascherano, Alonso, and Gerrard. If Klopp had that today, everyone is always telling me, nah, trust, we would be the best team since sliced bread and blah blah blah. So you know what I mean? And that team had that team plus Torres up top. Did you get what I'm trying to say? Carragher at the back. We had some good players, Reina in goal and stuff like that. Like, we had a good enough team, in terms of the amount of good players that we had, probably the same amount if you think about it, yeah, when you try and compare the two. So, it is one of those kind of things. But again, like I said, it will always be context. We always have to remember these kind of things, and we can't just dive in and say, oh, but he did this. At the end of the day, the context for Steven Gerrard will always be, he dragged this club to be this top. Well, Liverpool were never, in my time, they were never a top team. We were a big club, but never ever a top team at any point. Ever. Do you know what I mean? Like, fluked away to a Champions League win in 2005, as fantastic and as great as that was. We were outside, out of mind, at that half time. But again, I'm not going to relive that because we all know Wagwan, back then. But in terms of looking at how Liverpool kind of were, especially when Steven Gerrard was coming through. Obviously, they won the treble. They won a treble back in 2001, the FA Cup, UEFA Cup, League Cup. But again, were we considered a top team? Nah, we weren't really, to be honest with you. Still Arsenal, Manchester United were still better teams than us. They were the ones winning the Premier League during that period of time. And, we were just, in terms of Europe, we were always going to be seen as a massive club because that's the history of Liverpool. But in terms of, it's always going to be history merchants, almost to that effect. It's all about the here and now. That's why Mo Salah and the current crop of players, when you look at them, you're almost like, well, in the here and now, they are one of the top teams. We're not just forget history. And I really don't like the history conversation at times sometimes, because I feel like you can keep talking about history, but yesterday, the day later, that's 2 days ago. Then it's 3 days ago. Then it's a week ago. Then it was a month ago. And, that happened a year ago. That happened 2 years ago. That happened 30 years ago. we can keep going on about history. If we're going to start talking about history, let's go back to everyone's history for when they started as football clubs. Do you get what I'm trying to say? Like, sometimes I do think it's the history obviously plays a, I can't even really say it plays a part in your here and now. I feel like the history is more just like, it's just a part of the culture of the football club, so to speak. So we look at Nottingham Forest, they, European champions and stuff like that. Would anyone call them a big team? Hell no. By default, they're called a big club because of their European heritage. I personally don't see it that way, because that's not how I view, big clubs and stuff like that, especially if it's been well over like 30 odd years. I'm like, you can't be considered a big team. Like, you're considered a historic club, I would say. You're one of the historic clubs. But big club, I'm like, I don't know about all that. Like, you haven't been anywhere near that kind of level for well over 30 years. For me to then sit here and say, call you a big club, that's being disingenuous to the clubs who have been in that last 30 years, kind of thing. Because prior to Manchester United, being so good under Alex Ferguson, they weren't really that big of a club, if I'm being totally honest with you. Sir Alex Ferguson made them this club that we know of today. He made them. It wasn't because of whatever they did prior to that. No way, they were never that big. He made them this big club. He made them one of, if not the biggest club in England, kind of thing. So, yeah, for me, that's how I look at clubs and stuff like that. Again, we all differ. We all look at football differently, and we all see it differently and stuff like that. But in regards to Liverpool, because obviously that's who we're talking about, when I look at Liverpool, I'm like, yeah, they were just like, because it was lucky enough, like during like the 2000s and mid 90s and stuff like that, it wasn't so long ago, kind of thing. And then Liverpool were always lucky because we were like a cup team. So as well as being historically in the last, like back in the 70s and 80s, being a good team, and obviously then building ourselves even more so, kind of thing, like when we did get to those mid 90s and then the 2000s, stuff like that, where we were never challenging really for titles, maybe the odd season here and there and stuff like that. It was then always about, oh yeah, historically Liverpool are this, here Liverpool are that. But luckily enough, we're winning cups, League Cups here, FA Cups there, a Champions League here, UEFA Cup there. We were doing stuff like that to keep ourselves somewhat relevant. But we were never seen as like in my opinion, maybe a big club, but I can't say we were seen as a big team. I don't think anyone looked at Liverpool and really thought, oh yeah, this is a real big team, or this is the club we should be scared of, or anything like that. I don't think we had that level of respect, and we didn't deserve it. We did not deserve it, because in my opinion, we were embarrassing for the last 30 years. But when we look at Liverpool now, you could definitely put them up there. Do you get what I'm trying to say? They've restored some of the respect, I think, that we lost, at Liverpool Football Club, because, as I said, it was just always about history, talking about the past. It's so boring. Stop talking about the past. Let's talk about the here and now. Do you know what I mean? Life moves forward, not backwards. And when we look at Liverpool, since the Jurgen Klopp obviously come in, won all these trophies and stuff like that, he's established the team, as being, one of the best teams out there in Europe, like top 10 teams in Europe. Well, I don't know where you want to rank Liverpool, but just in a general sense, top 5 teams in Europe, 6, 7, 10, whatever, they're up there. Whereas before, we would never have been in that kind of conversation throughout like those 90s and 2000s kind of era. So when you're looking at that, again, all of that is context and stuff like that. When you're looking at it like that, that's where we have to then look at this whole Steven Gerrard versus Mo Salah. Not versus, let me not pit them two together. They're both part of the same club. Both legends of the football club. But when we're looking at whether Mo Salah could surpass that legacy, there's so much to it. I don't think it's just as simple as, yeah, he could just surpass it tomorrow. Yeah, if he wins the Premier League tomorrow, yeah, he surpasses it. I don't think it's even that simple, because I feel like to surpass that kind of legacy, obviously it helps the trophies that you win, but then obviously those might have to then be looked at in context. But then at the same time, you're then looking at the individual player. What did they do for both club and their own individual awards and stuff like that? And that's exactly what we're going to move on to, right now. So, excuse me. So obviously I was taking a look. We'll take a look first at, take a look at this team first and foremost. Let me take this banner off for you guys. Take a look at this team. This team. So like this is what Gerrard was playing with. This is Liverpool 2005 UCL final. For those who haven't seen the lineup, for those who are too young to even really remember it, this is the kind of team. Now the back line, I've seen Liverpool of now play probably worse than that before in games, like under Jurgen Klopp. So I can't even say it was that dead. But obviously, look who we're playing against. Yeah, I mean, so Steve Finnan, I think he was solid. Carragher, solid. Hupia, solid. Traore, he was not solid. Do you know what I mean? He was like Moreno kind of vibes for those who don't know Jimmy Traore. But again, coming up against that kind of defense that we're coming up against in AC Milan, you know, Dida, Cafu, Yapstam, Nesta, Maldini, disgusting, absolutely disgusting. Obviously, midfield, we had there Jabi Alonso, Risa obviously playing there on that left kind of midfield role. Luis Garcia, who was an okay player. He was more of a cult hero kind of thing, but I don't think he was all that, to be honest, when we really deep it. And then obviously Steven Gerrard playing in that kind of, well, he's playing in a midfield three-ish, just in front of Jabi Alonso, you know, a bit further forward than obviously Jabi Alonso. And then obviously Harry Kewell and Milan Baros. Like, come on, bro. Like, look at that type of team. Look at that team. That's like asking Mo Salah today, I need you to go to a Champions League final with Divock Origi, I don't even know, Shaqiri. Like, basically, you see the team that we beat Barcelona with, and that 4-0? It's like, it's almost a bit like that. A little bit like that, almost. I'm trying to think of, I can't think of off the top of my head. Again, people, comments and whatever, if you're watching this video, let me know if there might have been like a different type of team. But that's the type of vibe. And even then, I'd still back that team over this team. Do you get what I'm trying to say? Like, well over this team. Because outside of what, Gerrard and Alonso, the rest were like, Hupia, yeah, like, I'm sorry, but you're coming up against Gattuso, Pirlo, Seedorf, Kaká, Shevchenko, Crespo. We all saw that Crespo finish. That was one of the best finishes I think I've ever seen. One of, anyway, in a final of a Champions League. That finish was so disgusting. Like, it was dumb, man. You guys need to watch the replay. I'm even thinking about it now. That was so mad. It was so mad. And I remember watching that game and it got to like 3-0 and me sitting there thinking, yeah, as long as we can keep it to like I'm good with 5. I'm good with 5. You know what I mean? Like, we got what? It felt like we were just like, because we were so lucky to get to that position in the first place. I was just more like, yeah, you know what? Obviously, we all remember the ghost goal and that shouldn't have stood against Chelsea and stuff like that. Like, all of these kind of different things, I'm looking at it thinking, all right, cool. Yo, if we could just keep it down to 5, this is the best team in Europe right now. You know what I mean? AC Milan, best team in the world, whatever. Like, I'm good with that. But then that second half, you know, Gerrard scoring the goal. And it wasn't just Gerrard. You know, he was an important figure, but it wasn't just Gerrard. That couldn't have, it wasn't, I know obviously everyone kind of makes it seem like, yeah, it was just a Steven Gerrard thing. In my personal opinion, it wasn't. It was never just a Steven Gerrard thing. It wasn't a Steven Gerrard final, in my personal, not like it was for the FA Cup against West Ham the following season. That was a Steven Gerrard final. This couldn't have been. You could never ever just win this game with one guy. It's impossible. Not against that team. That needs the whole team to do something. Like, the whole team just needs to have a level of belief. Obviously, you're going to have a catalyst for that. You're going to have that one player who's going to G everybody up. He's the captain. I expect him to do so and stuff like that. But I'll be surprised, and I can't remember the interviews. I'll be mad surprised if he genuinely sat there and thought to himself, yeah, no, we can go back in this game. Yeah, that real talk. Do you get what I'm trying? Like, you're 3-0 down against the best team out there. You're just hoping to keep the score down. You know, you're just hoping to make it respectable for the fans who've obviously travelled all that way to Istanbul and stuff like that. I don't feel like you're looking at it and thinking, yeah, calm, we're just going to, you know what I mean, just come here and just slap 4 now, second half against the best team out there. Like, when we're not that good of a team. I think we finished, 5th that season, where we had to beg UEFA to get us into the Champions League the next season because we won it. Like, come on, man, context, man. I don't think that was just a Gerrard thing. That was a team effort, like a mad team effort, you know, in that. Again, Gerrard being at the forefront of that, not this being trying to, you know, discredit him or anything like that, but that was a team thing. I just don't like the way people just make it seem like, nah, it was all Gerrard, man. He did his thing. He scored a goal and like, nah, man. What if Smitsa don't score his goal when really Dida should have saved that? Different game. You know, Dida saves the penalty from Xabi Alonso, but he gets in on a rebound. Like, there's so many different things. I was even shocked. Why didn't Gerrard take it? I always sit there and wonder, why didn't Gerrard take the penalty? I was baffed about that. I don't know if he's spoken about that. But at the time, there was a period of time when I thought, he kind of bottled that, you know? Like, he ain't trying to miss that penalty. Yeah, I mean, he didn't want that penalty. That's what I thought anyway. Maybe he said something. So again, in the comments, let me know. I'm not trying to be funny. I'm not trying to whatever. But I was baffled as to why did Thingy take that? But fair enough. Maybe I can't even remember. Maybe at the time, Jabi Alonso was the penalty taker. I really can't remember. So we're talking how many years ago? Do you get what I'm trying to say? So yeah, man, I think that's just the kind of the kind of thing for me. But ultimately, you still look at the team that he had during that period of time, and you do think to yourself like, yo, for Gerrard to even have stood out would have been Gerrard standing out in the Liverpool team, that's the Liverpool teams that he was in. That wasn't the hard part. It was being able to stand out to such a degree that UEFA Team of the Year 2005, he's being put up with these guys. Look at the midfield: Nedved, Ronaldinho, Luis Garcia. Luis Garcia, I don't know how he got in there, but Luis Garcia. Obviously, this is from, I'm assuming, the year that we won the Champions League. Maldini, Terry, Puyol, Cafu, Peter Cech, Eto'o, Shevchenko. Like, these are such ballers. These are ballers. Like, yo, like for the young G's out there, like, these guys are ballers. We ain't got players like hardly any of these type of players right about now. You know what I'm saying? Man telling me, yeah, nah, the Sakas and the Fodens and, you know what I'm saying? Like, these guys are Osherman and that. Osherman? You think Osherman could lace Eto'o and Shevchenko's boots? Crazy. That is crazy talk. Do you get what I'm saying? 2006, UEFA Team of the Year, Steven Gerrard again, alongside Kaká, Fabregas, Ronaldinho, Philip Lahm, Cannavaro, Puyol, Zambrotta, Buffon, Eto'o, Thierry Henry, like, 2007, Gerrard is there again. This time alongside Kaká, Seedorf, Cristiano Ronaldo, Abidal back there, Terry, Casillas, Nesta, Dani Alves. Dani Alves did pretty well to get in there, by the way. Ibrahimovic, Didier Drogba, and in 2005 he won the UEFA Club Footballer of the Year. Like, this is what we're talking about. Like, and this is what I say with Steven Gerrard is, obviously, this is all done, obviously, at Liverpool. This is for Liverpool during this period. This is why I say context is so key. Remember, Salah is my guy. And we're going to get onto Salah in a second, but Salah is my guy. I'm not even trying to be disingenuous towards him because I think he's a fantastic player and he is a legend of Liverpool Football Club in my eyes and in my opinion. But, yo, like, Salah made no UEFA Teams of the Year. Now, we can go context and say, well, this is when Lionel Messi and Ronaldo were still about and blah, 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 and all these kind of, fair enough. But Gerrard is still having to compete with a lot of these midfielders who, yo, a lot of people are putting in their teams of the centuries and stuff like that, you know, kind of thing. And we'll get on to, funnily enough, a team of the century. But, you know, that's the kind of thing that, you know, Steven Gerrard was doing at Liverpool Football Club. He was that good in terms of that sick of a player that you almost have to say, like, can you surpass that? Like, can you, I need you to do better than that, or I need you to do as equal to that. And it's, again, me talking, you know, to Mo Salah. Like, look at all this, you know, the guys, you know, standing up with Lionel Messi, Andres Iniesta, you know, Xavi, three of my favorite, in terms of favorite players ever in football, that those four right there are like some of my favorite players. Two of those anyway are my favorite players, or top two favorite players of all time, in Lionel Messi and Andres Iniesta. Yeah, I mean, Steven Gerrard will probably come somewhere in third or fourth, but then you still got Xavi, and like, these guys, this is the kind of level that we are talking about with a Steven Gerrard. He was being put up with these guys. This is the FIFA Pro, you know, World 11 of the Year, 2006 and 2007, you know, Steven Gerrard along in a 4-3-3 formation alongside Kaká, Ronaldo. They put in there. I guess they just tried to put Ronaldo in there because they needed Ronaldo. It would have made more sense they put Ronaldinho, but yeah, Ronaldinho in there. Didier Drogba, Lionel Messi, Puyol, Terry, Cannavaro, you know, Nesta, Buffon, crazy. 2008, the 07-08 season again. He's in there alongside Kaká and Xavi. You know, look at that. That front three was like that front three right there. Ronaldo, Torres, and Messi of this time, yeah, dude, it's long. It's long. I know we talk about MSN and that, Messi, Suarez, Neymar. This is easily better in my opinion. Like, yeah, this is better. I'm just thinking about it. Yeah, like Suarez and Torres, there's a conversation to be had, but Neymar ain't better than Ronaldo. Messi is obviously there, and Torres at that time. Let's not even talk about that. Obviously, the midfield, Kaká doing his thing. Obviously ended up winning the Champions League when they faced against Liverpool a couple of seasons later as well. So obviously he was doing his thing. Again, that defense, Rio in there, Sergio Ramos, Terry, Puyol, Casillas. And then we got the 2009. Again, Gerrard is in there. And again, this is during an era where Barcelona, this is where the Spain dominance was starting to push through, like in La Liga, where they were just becoming that league. They had those players, Dani Alves obviously in there, Xavi, Iniesta, Ronaldo, Messi, all those guys playing in La Liga, Casillas, they were taking over football. I definitely would say La Liga was taking over football at one period of time because they just had the best players in the world playing, for Real Madrid and Barcelona, basically. So everyone else was just kind of fighting for positions. This, bearing in mind, Gerrard is still playing for Liverpool, a team who are not winning the Premier League, not winning Champions League. He's won one in his whole career. Like, we're winning League Cups and FA Cups, but he's still in here doing his thing. Like, it's mad. Like, it's so mad when I come to deep it. And when I think about it, I'm just like, yeah, nah, Gerrard was doing his thing, Gerrard was doing his thing. Like, you can't even... You can't, whether some people say it's overrated or whatever, that's calm. Yeah, that's another discussion. But we can't not look at the facts. Do you get what I'm trying to say? Like, UEFA team of the century, Gerrard, Iniesta, Xavi, these guys. I think they done it based upon how many teams of the year, UEFA teams of the year that you had been in during, I can't remember when they've actually published this, but when I took a look, this was the UEFA team of the century. But even still, Philippe Lahm, Puyol, Piqué, Ramos, Casillas, Xavi, Iniesta, Gerrard, Henry, Messi, like Gerrard, again, he's there and he's doing this for Liverpool. And again, this is what I'm saying. He didn't have Van Dijk next to him. He didn't have a right back who can get you 15 assists, a left back who can get you 15 assists. One of the best, if not the best goalkeeper, in the world, centre backs in the world, playing alongside a front three, which arguably in their positions are some of, if not the best in the world at the time. Like, it's difficult. It's difficult, man. It's not easy. This UEFA team, 2006, Gerrard's not playing with sick players, Do you get what I'm trying to say? And he was making it so, like, he was making Liverpool seem more respectable, in my opinion, than they actually were. Because if he wasn't there, Lord knows where the hell we would have been as a football club in a general sense. We really would have been like a Nottingham Forest where it's like, yeah, man, historians and that. You know what I mean? Yeah, back in the day we was doing our thing, but yeah, we ain't done our thing for time, but we were a big thing back in the day. Nah, he was making it respectable. Like, he was generally making it, respectable for Liverpool Football Club, And again, won that treble. Gerard Houllier, rest in peace. Probably my favorite, or one of my favorite managers for Liverpool. Definitely my top two favorite managers for Liverpool. I know that's a fake treble, as people say, but that's one of the, again, one of the happiest times. It's just behind winning the Premier League, but that didn't really bang because there was no fans and we couldn't really celebrate and stuff like that. But definitely one of my favorite periods of time supporting Liverpool during this kind of era. It was exciting. We had young players. We were like a young, vibrant team, and we were able to do this, playing good football. Fowler scoring goals. Owen in that FA Cup final. The UEFA Cup final as well. That was mad. Like, that period of time for Liverpool, for me, that was... And again, maybe I'm just being a nostalgia merchant anyway. Maybe that's just what it is, and why I would then say, nah, maybe Gerrard's legacy, And I'm not saying that Mo Salah ain't done a lot of things. Now, as I mentioned before, Mo Salah ain't won these individual awards, or sorry, he's not been in no team of the years kind of thing. UEFA teams of the year. Now, we can use the context and stuff like that, and that's absolutely fine. I've got no problem with that. Obviously, this is the Lionel Messi, Ronaldo era, so fair enough. I get all of that. The kind of things that Salah's doing, look, golden, he's an attacker, by the way, so of course they'll compare midfielder to attacker. Most golden boots, he's got 3, in the Premier League era so far. Just behind Thierry Henry, who had 4. That's actually crazy. He's level with Harry Kane, who's not obviously going to get any more unless he comes back to the Premier League, and Alan Shearer, who is retired. Salah was named in the UEFA squad of the season. It's kind of a decent squad of the season when I look at Navas, Alisson, Kimmich, Ramos. Ramos is still doing his thing during this. This is during the 17-18 squad of the season. Marcelo, Chiellini, Van Dijk, Varane, De Bruyne, Casemiro, Modric, Cruz, James Rodriguez, Dzeko, Firmino, Messi, Ronaldo, and then obviously Salah. And then obviously the big thing that Salah obviously has done is win these trophies for Liverpool. Now, again, Salah has been an absolute vital part of this success. One of the most important signings that Liverpool have ever made for the football club. The amount of goals that he's, scored for Liverpool, since being here, like the records he's breaking. I saw something the other recently talking about the amount of the amount of goals that Mo Salah has scored against Manchester United. I think it's only him and Gerrard actually who've scored, I think, 5+ goals at Old Trafford and stuff like that. Take a look here. If I just share my screen for you guys. We can take a look at Salah's stats. It's a bit small now. I'm going to larger than that for you guys. So yeah, you guys can see it on the screen there. Obviously, like, he's played 300 by the time of this video, 316 games, got 194 goals, 78 assists. You know, the guy is scoring at some ridiculous rate. Do you get what I'm trying to say? Like, it's not even funny. You know, he's got African Footballer Writers of the Year, couple PFA Players of the Years. He's in the 17-18 Premier League Team of the Season, Golden Boots, Playmaker of the Season, Champions League obviously won that, and all those kind of other trophies. I think Steven Gerrard has won 8 trophies, and Mo Salah has won 6 trophies at Liverpool. I think, is it 6? If we're including the Community Shield, I believe it's 6. I know that Gerrard's got more trophies won. So again, you know, I at the end of the day, Salah has been a part of, you know, the Liverpool era where we've won a Premier League, you know, kind of thing. So of course we're going to look at that and say potentially Salah's got to be the guy, you know, that, you know, maybe he can surpass that legacy. And if he hasn't, or if you think he can, what do you think he has to do? What more do you think he would have to do, so to speak? I.e., obviously won 1 Premier League. So if, for example, Salah was to, you know, win another Premier League with Liverpool, would we then sit here and say that Salah would surpass Steven Gerrard's legacy? I mean, I just showed you all those individual. Now, that's obviously individual awards. And of course, they're doing it at that club. Does Salah need to be recognized on that kind of scale? Obviously, again, we're taking context into this in terms of how, like, who's about, and, you know, can he even make it into these squads and blah, 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 like all these various different things. Again, the context of Salah being an important player for Liverpool, but not the most important player for Liverpool to obviously be as successful as they are at this current moment in time, or have been at this current moment in time. And then obviously Steven Gerrard being, you know, literally the most important player thing at the football club during his kind of time there, especially from when he took the armband over from, you know, Sami Hyypiä. You know, he was literally then just the most important, you know, player at the football club. So, you know, then you're looking at it from that kind of context. Yes, there were the odd seasons. There were seasons where Suarez was a better player, Torres was a better player, stuff like that. Yeah, I definitely would hear that. But as an overall during that period of time, it was Steven Gerrard. You know, with Mo Salah, we've had seasons where people have said Trent, you know, he's been dope this season, like not this season specifically, but just in other seasons. Virgil van Dijk, Alisson, you know, kind of thing. You like, I'm just trying to look at it and think to myself, like, how would we see it? How would you guys see it? Comment section, obviously, let me know, you know, in terms of what do you think. But yeah, like I said, man, it's a very interesting one, man. You know, I don't want to make this video too long and stuff like that, but like, it's just an interesting topic. It is just an interesting thing to kind of take a look at. And I really want to know, what do you guys think, or what do you guys believe Mo Salah needs to do in order for him to, if he is going to surpass that legacy, what does he need to do? If he wins another Premier League, does he surpass that legacy? I don't think it's about the goals. I'm not concerned about the goals. Gerrard has got that many goals for a midfielder. Salah's an attacker. I expect him to outscore him, kind of thing anyway. So I'm not looking at the goals and saying, oh yeah, but like he scored this amount of because then I would only compare him with the other strikers. That's all I can do. The Ian Rushes, the Robbie Fowlers, the Owens, and people of that kind of ilk. I can compare him to those guys in terms of just goal scoring in itself. Excuse me, but so I'm not going to compare him and Gerrard in terms of, oh, but he's got this amount of goals. That doesn't make any sense. The Gerrard's a midfielder. He shouldn't be scoring that many goals in the first place. And the sheer fact that he was our top goal scorer in basically everything, in terms of top Champions League scorer, European scorer, and, you know, how many goals he had scored in the Premier League and all these kind of various different things just gives testament again to the type of player that we're talking about. But again, trophies matter. I know that it's not the only thing that matters, but trophies do matter. So if Mo Salah wins another Premier League and Champions League, what are we saying? What, 2 Prems, 2 UCLs? Will that tip the scales? Will that make everyone think, nah, but he's got to, you know? Let me know what you guys obviously think in the comment section. I would love to know how people kind of view this and how people kind of see this, you know, this kind of debate and where they think it could potentially head. But I'll sit here and I'll say, can he surpass it? I think time is running out for him to surpass it, if I'm being totally honest with you. I think the only way I see him doing it, like I showed you, man, like UEFA 05, 06, 07, FIFA Pro 07, 08, 09. This guy is in the teams of the year in around Europe. Like, that's how good he is. Do you get what I'm trying to say? Playing for that type of team. And Mo Salah's playing in a better team who are performing a lot better when you look at points per games and stuff like that than that team's ever was. And he still can't, I mean, he's not doing enough. Like, I don't know. Obviously, that's individual. So I'm like, okay, cool, fair enough. But then he's winning the trophies. So I'm like, okay. And he's putting, as I said, he's helped to make Liverpool a top team now. Yes, Gerrard's helped to make the team more respectable, but he didn't make Liverpool a top team, though. He couldn't, because the majority of the time the team was crap. But Salah's helped to do that. So I'm just like, I don't know, man. I don't know. I just think time is running out. He would come back to me when Salah does win a Premier League and another UCL. Then we might have to have that conversation and say, yeah, maybe we're going to have to maybe change that up. But again, I'm not fighting either side. I'm good with whatever. I'm more good if you stay Steven Gerrard. But I'm saying I would be calm if people then said Mo Salah, if he then does that. At the moment, no. I don't. Obviously, he's not past that legacy. At the end of the day, he's still currently playing for Liverpool. He's still got lots to kind of do and stuff like that. So we've got to take it all into context, and it's all in time as well. It's all in time. But yes, people, we now reached the end of the video. Thank you guys for obviously tuning in. Just a nice quick one. Just taking a look at Mo Salah, whether he can pass Steven Gerrard's legacy or not. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. I'm G. Make sure you smash a like. Make sure you share. Make sure you subscribe. Out, baby.